Hello, you guys. Let's talk about adding and subtracting unlike fractions. So that means the denominators are going to be different, okay? And I want you to notice that we skipped 5.2 because they had the same denominator. We'll just do a couple of those in class together. Okay, so what my students started doing is when they noticed that the denominators were different and they were adding, they used what we call towers, okay? Now, I'm going to show you towers in this movie, but if you like to just do it the way you learned last year and you're doing it correctly, no problem at all. That's fine. But I want to show you towers in case you ever had trouble with adding and subtracting fractions. So take a look at A. We have 7 over 15 plus 1 over 5. Well, the denominators are different, and so when the denominators don't match, we're going to write it as a tower. So 7 over 15 on top, 1 over 5 down below. And then put an equal sign with a fraction bar, equal sign with a fraction bar, and put a fraction bar in your answer. Now, grab your blue, okay? And I want you to look at the 5 and the 15. Well, the 15 is larger, so I'm going to use the 15 as my lowest common denominator. So I'm going to put a 15 everywhere and in the denominator, and then grab your red, and we're going to do what my students started calling zippies because they look like a Z. Okay, watch. 15 goes into 15 once, so I bring the 1 upstairs. 7 times 1 gives me 7, and I put that on top. Start at the 5. 5 goes into 15 3 times. Bring that upstairs. 1 times 3 gives you 3. And then we just add the numerators. 7 plus 3 gives me 10. And of course, when the denominators match, we just copy the denominator, the 15. So 10 over 15 can be reduced. 5 goes into both. That gives us 2 over 3. Okay, take a look at B. Negative 2/3 minus 3/4. Well, whenever you see the subtraction sign, add a line, change the sign, okay? And the denominators don't match, so I'm going to use towers. So I put negative 2 over 3 on top plus negative 3 over 4 down below. Now look at the two denominators. And with your pencil, put equals in a fraction bar, equals with a fraction bar, and put a fraction bar in your answer. Now, with these two denominators, we want to find the lowest common denominator. You always start with the bigger number, the 4, but 3 won't go into 4, so think of multiples of 4. The next multiple of 4 is 8. 3 won't go into 8. The next multiple of 4 is 3, 12, and 3 goes into 12, so 12 is going to be our lowest common denominator. So put a 12 in every denominator spot, and then grab your red. 3 goes into 12 4 times, bring that upstairs. Negative 2 times 4 gives you negative 8. Start at the 4 here. 4 goes into 12 3 times. 3 times negative 3 gives you negative 9. And then we add negative 8 plus negative 9 gives us negative 17 over 12, or we can write it as a mixed number, negative 1 and 5/12. Okay, so the checkpoint, remember, you try it on your own before you listen to me explain it. But look at number 1, 3 over 7 plus 5 over 21. The denominators don't match, so I write it as a tower. 3 over 7 over 5 over 21, and then I put an equal sign with a fraction bar, equal sign with a fraction bar, and put a fraction bar in my answer. Now grab your blue, all right, and always go to the bigger denominator, the 21. Well, 7 goes into 21 without remainders, so 21 is our lowest common denominator. So with your blue, put a 21 in every denominator spot. Okay, then grab your red and start at the 7. 7 goes into 21 3 times, bring that upstairs. 3 times 3 gives you 9. Start at the 21. 21 goes into 21 1 time, bring that upstairs. 5 times 1 gives you 5. So add 9 plus 5, and that'll give us 14 over 21. Reduce your fraction, divide both the top and the bottom by 7, so you get 2 over 3. Okay, take a look at number 2. 1 over 4 minus 3 over 10. Add a line and change the sign. The denominators do not match, so use towers. 1 over 4 on top, negative 3 over 10 on the bottom. Put an equal sign with a fraction bar, equal sign with a fraction bar, and put a fraction bar down in your answer. Now grab your blue and start at the biggest denominator, the 10. Well, 4 won't go into 10 without remainders, so now think of the next multiple of 10 would be 20. 4 goes into 20, we're going to use 20. So put 20 everywhere you can in the denominator. And then start at the 4. 4 goes into 20 5 times, bring that upstairs. 1 times 5 gives you 5. Start at the 10. 10 goes into 20 2 times. Bring that upstairs. Negative 3 times 2 gives you negative 6. Now add 5 plus negative 6, and that gives us negative 1 over 20, and we're done. Okay, so now we can add mixed numbers the same way. So take a look at negative 5 and 1/6. Remember, ignore the negative for just 1 second and start at the 6. 6 times 5 is 30. 30 plus 1 gives you 31 over 6, and put the negative back on. And then copy the plus sign and then start at the 10 here. 10 times 2 is 20, and 20 plus 3 is 23 over 10, but put that negative back on. Okay, and now the denominators do not match, so I'm going to write it as a tower. Negative 31 over 6 on top and negative 23 over 10 down below. And then I put an equal sign with a fraction bar, equal sign with a fraction bar, and I put a fraction bar down in my answer. Now grab your blue pen and look at the 6 and the 10. Go to the 10 because that's bigger, and 6 will not go into 10 without remainders, so do the next multiple of 10 is 20. 6 won't go into 20 without remainders, so do the next multiple of 10, which is 30, and 30 works. So put 30 in every denominator spot, okay? Now, grab your red and start at the 6. 6 goes into 30 5 times. Bring that upstairs. Negative 31 times 5 gives us negative 155. Now start at the 10. 10 goes into 30 3 times. Bring that upstairs. Negative 23 times 3 gives us negative 69. And so now we add negative 155 plus negative 69 to get negative 224 over 30. Well, I know I can reduce. They're both even, so I divide by 2, and I get negative 112 over 15, or we could write it as a mixed number, negative 7 and 7/15. Okay, so remember, you try the checkpoint before you listen to me explain it. Find the sum or difference. So on number 3, it's 4 and 5/6 plus 2 and 4/9. I made them improper, okay? So I got 29 over 6 plus 22 over 9. The denominators did not match, so I used towers. So you see me set it up here. I put an equal sign, fraction bar, equal sign, fraction bar, put a fraction bar in my answer. So I grabbed my blue pen and I went to the largest denominator, the 9. 6 won't go into 9 without remainders, so then I did the next multiple of 9, which was 18, and that works. So I put 18 in every denominator spot, and then I grabbed my red pen and did the zippies. 6 goes into 18 3 times. Bring that upstairs. 29 times 3 gives me 87. Start at the 9. 9 goes into 18 2 times. Bring that upstairs. 22 times 2 gives you 44. Add that up and you would get 131 over 18, or as a mixed number, 7 and 5/18. Take a look at number 4. I have negative 2 and 1/3 minus 3 and 3/7. The first thing I did with my red is I added a line and changed the sign. And then I made both the mixed numbers improper. So negative 2 and 1/3 was negative 7 over 3 plus negative 24 over 7, and the denominators did not match, so I used towers. Negative 7 over 3 plus negative 24 over 7. I put an equal sign with a fraction bar, equal sign with a fraction bar, put a fraction bar in my answer. Now grab your blue and look at the 3 and the 7. The 7 is bigger. Another trick is they're both prime numbers, so I'm just going to multiply them. So 3 times 7 gives me 21. So I put 21 in all the denominator spots. And then grab your red. So start at the 3. 3 goes into 21 7 times. Bring that upstairs. Negative 7 times 7 gives you negative 49. Start at the 7. 7 goes into 21 3 times. Bring that upstairs. Negative 24 times 3 gives you negative 72. When I added the numerators, I got negative 121 over 21, or as a mixed number, negative 5 and 16 over 21. Okay, now look at example 4. Algebra is so much fun with fractions. Watch this. We're going to simplify an expression. They want us to simplify a over 4 minus a over 8. Well, I do the same thing. I grab my red and I add a line and change the sign in front of the a over 8. And so now the denominators do not match, so I'm going to set it up like a tower. A over 4 plus negative a over 8. And then I put my equal sign with a fraction bar, equal sign with a fraction bar, and I put a fraction bar down in my answer. Now, grab your blue and look at the denominators. I see a 4 and an 8. 8 is larger. 4 goes into 8 without remainders, so 8 is our lowest common denominator. So I'm going to put 8 everywhere in the denominator spot. Now grab your red and start at the 4. 4 goes into 8 2 times, bring that upstairs. A times 2 gives us 2a in algebra. Okay, go to the 8. 8 goes into 8 one time, bring that upstairs. Negative a times 1 gives me negative 1a. And now I just add the numerators. 2a plus negative 1a gives me positive 1a over 8. Well, remember, this 1 is like that giant invisible 1, so you can let it disappear and just write your final answer as a over 8, and you're done. Okay, so take a look at this checkpoint. Number 5, we have b over 3 plus b over 8. Well, the denominators don't match, so I write it as a tower. b over 3 plus b over 8. I put my equal sign with a fraction bar, equal sign with a fraction bar. I put a fraction bar in my answer. And then I grab my blue, and I look at the 3, I look at the 8. The 8 is bigger, and 3 is a prime, so I'm just going to multiply them. So that gives me 24 for all of my denominators. And then I grab my red pen and start at the 3. 3 goes into 24 8 times. Bring that upstairs. b times 8 would just be 8b in algebra. Start at the 8. 8 goes into 24 3 times. Bring that upstairs. b times 3 is just 3b in algebra. And then I just add the numerators. 8b plus 3b makes a total of 11b over 24. And I can't reduce, so I box my answer. Take a look at number 6. I have c over 5 minus c over 7. So with my red pen, I add a line and change the sign, and then I see the denominators do not match, so I use towers. I put c over 5 on top, negative c over 7 down below, and then I put my equal sign with a fraction bar, equal sign with a fraction bar, and I put a fraction bar down in my answer. Now, grab your blue pen and look at the denominators. 5 and 7. They're both primes, so the fastest way to get the lowest common denominator is just to multiply. So I put 35 in all of the denominator spots with my blue pen. And then grab your red pen and start at the 5. 5 goes into 35 7 times. Bring that upstairs. C times 7 is just 7c in algebra. And then start at the 7. 7 goes into 35 5 times. Bring that upstairs. Negative c times 5 makes negative 5c. And then we just add the numerators. 7c plus negative 5c is positive 2c over 35. And I can't reduce, so I box my answer.